Hello and welcome to a fresh new edition of your favorite program, Science Monitor, a program that keeps you updated on all that is happening in the world of science and technology. First, let us take a look at the headlines. Delhi's Lieutenant Governor constitutes a high-level committee to look into increasing pollution levels in the national capital. New element 117 set to join the periodic table. India headed for a record 264 million metric ton food grain production in 2013-14. Scientists pave way for successfully turning light into matter. Fossils of largest dinosaur ever found in Argentina. And in our segment In Focus, we shall discuss why conservation of island biodiversity is essential for the maintenance of our ecosystem. And now news in details. A week after the World Health Organization report dubbed Delhi as the most polluted city in the world, Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung constituted a high-power committee to look into pollution levels in the city. As per the mandate, the committee will specifically look into pollution caused by the growing number of vehicles and the pollution level in Yamuna due to the industrial and sewer waste being flown in the river.
Following the starting announcement by the World Health Organization that has reported Delhi as the most polluted city in the world, Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung on Tuesday constituted a high-power committee to look into pollution levels in Delhi. The committee will examine all the aspects of pollution and address the causes and steps required to check pollution in the city. The committee will specifically look into pollution caused by the growing number of vehicles and the pollution levels in Yamuna due to the industrial and sewer waste being flown in the river. The committee will be chaired by the Chief Secretary and will have Special CP Traffic, Delhi Police Secretary Environment, Commissioner Transport and Additional Secretary DPCC as its members. The committee, however, has been empowered to co-opt members both from the government and the private sector, including NGOs.
A new element, 117, is one step closer to joining the periodic table. An international team of scientists obtained 2 atoms of this super heavy element. 2 Indian scientists were also part of this team of scientists. 70 scientists from 16 institutions are part of this team. So, what exactly is this so-called element 117? Let us find out in this report.
In a breakthrough study, Indian researchers collaborating with an international team of researchers have reported the discovery of a new super heavy element 117. The team of researchers who made this historical discovery consists of Dr. Sushant Lahiri and Dr. Momita Maiti from the Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics besides 70 other scientists and engineers from 16 institutions in Australia, Finland, Germany, India, Norway, Poland, Sweden, Switzerland, the United Kingdom and the United States. The team was led by Professor Christoph Duellmann at GSI Helmholtz Center for Heavy Iron Research.
72 people from all these countries with various expertise they gathered, and they have 5.5 months long. This means 5.5 months long means 165 days into 24 hours. This accelerator was on, and an intense beam of calcium ions with high energy, they were bombarded on berkelium target. And in this team of 72 elements, we are proud to say that from India, Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics represented this team, myself and my colleague Dr. Momita Maiti.
Elements beyond atomic number 104, that is Rutherfordium, are called super heavy elements. Super heavy elements do not exist in nature and are produced artificially. The super heavy element 117 was produced by bombarding a specially prepared target of berkelium-249 with high energy calcium-48 ions. 13 mg of berkelium-249, a heavy element with half-life of 330 days used for the experiment, was produced and purified by researchers at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory in the US. using a technique called neutron irradiation at its high-flux isotope reactor. According to the researchers, this element may have some unique properties and may find use in many practical applications. Nonetheless, this study is likely to open up new avenues in the area of super heavy element research.
India's food grains output is likely to cross 264 million metric tons in 2013-14, according to government estimates. Now, this is almost 2.8% more than 2012-13. The estimates have been released in the third Advanced Estimate Report of 2013-14 Agriculture Production by the Department of Agriculture. It says that the production in many crops is likely to be the highest ever, breaking earlier records.
According to the third Advanced Estimates of Crop Production released this month, food grain production in India for the year 2013-14 is likely to cross 264 million tons this year, marking the highest ever production of many crops and breaking many previous records. According to the estimates, India is likely to produce 264.38 million tons of food grains during 2013-14 to 257.13 million tons last year. This is more than 7 million tons higher than the production last year. This estimate includes Kharif crops of 2013 and Rabi crops 2013-14 crops compared. The rice production is expected at record 106.29 million tons and wheat production is expected to reach 95.85 million tons, which is again a record. Record production has also been achieved in the case of tur that amounted to 3.38 million ton, gram 9.93 million tons, maize 24.19 million tons, all pulses put together 19.57 million tons, cotton 36.50 million bales and jute 10.82 million bales. This is perceived as a major step towards achieving food security in the country.
In another path-breaking discovery, scientists have discovered how to create matter from light. A feat thought impossible when the idea was first theorized 80 years ago. In just one day, 3 physicists worked out a relatively simple way to physically prove a theory first devised by scientists Breed and Wheeler in 1934. Here is a report.
In yet another scientific breakthrough in particle physics, physicists at Imperial College London have discovered a technique to create matter from light. The idea of turning matter into light was first proposed 80 years ago in 1934 by scientists Breed and Wheeler. According to the theory, collision of 2 protons, light particles, together would create an electron and a positron. In order to achieve this, the physicists at Imperial College London have devised a new photon-photon collider that can convert light directly into matter using technology that is already available. The collider experiment involves 2 key steps. First, the scientists would use an extremely powerful high-intensity laser to speed up electrons to just below the speed of light. They would then fire these electrons into a slab of gold to create a beam of photons 1 billion times more energetic than visible light. The next stage of the experiment involves a tiny gold can called a Hohlraum. Hohlraum is a German for empty room. Scientists would then fire a high-energy laser at the inner surface of this gold can to create a thermal radiation field, generating light similar to the light emitted by stars. They would then direct the photon beam from the first stage of the experiment through the center of the can, causing the photons from the 2 sources to collide and form electrons and positrons. This experiment has vital implications for the future as it allows for the recreation of conditions of gamma-ray bursts and origin of universe. The breakthrough has been achieved in collaboration with physicists from the Max Planck Institute for Nuclear Physics.
Summer vacations have begun, and with that, number of fun activities have been started for kids. Vigyan Prasar has also started lots of educational and interesting activities for children of the country under its EduSat network.
Interesting workshops for students have begun as soon as their summer vacation started.
Vigyan Prasar, an organization working in the field of science communications, has organized a Summer Science Festival 2014 for school children. School kids in the age group of 10 to 15 years can participate in this festival for the next 1 month. The festival, that will take place between 19th May and 20th June, program was inaugurated by Dr. T.V. Venkateshwaran, scientist Vigyan Prasar. On the occasion, Shri Sandeep Barua, scientist Vigyan Prasar, also inaugurated an activity books prepared for the children.
हर साल की तरह हमारा समर साइंस फेस्टिवल स्टार्ट हो चुका है और ये हमारा 20 जून तक जाएगा। बेसिकली ये 25 डे प्रोग्राम होता है जिसमें हम फ़न के साथ लर्न करते हैं और बाइलिंगुअल प्रोग्राम है इंग्लिश और हिंदी में। चूँकि 2004 में इसरो ने सैटेलाइट लॉन्च की थी एजुसैट के थ्रू ही हमने ये प्रोग्राम पिछले 7 सालों से शुरुआत कर रहे हैं, जिसमें ऑल ओवर इंडिया विज्ञान प्रसार के 50 सेंटर्स हैं, जिनमें से 20 सेंटर्स जो हैं पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं इस साइंस फेस्टिवल में।
Vigyan Prasar has established an EduSat two-way audio-video interactive communication network in association with Development and Educational Communication Unit of Indian Space Research Organisation, Ahmedabad. Through this, students present in all the centers will be able to directly interact with specialists in the studio. This year, health of young boys and girls will be discussed along with topics on fun with science, aerodynamic, radio communication, creative science writing and mathematics.
And in some interesting news, paleontologists in Argentina have discovered fossilized remains of a dinosaur which may have been the largest animal ever to walk the earth. This animal weighed around 70 tons or the equivalent of more than 14 African elephants. Experts believe that this dinosaur would be about 40 meters long and 20 meters in height, which is about the height of a 7-story building.
Unearthing a paleontological treasure. Paleontologists in Argentina's remote Patagonia region have discovered fossils of a 70-ton species of dinosaur, the largest dinosaur ever to roam the earth. The fossils are 7 tons heavier than the previous record holder, Argentinosaurus. The fossil belonged to a creature that is believed to be a new species of titanosaur, a long-necked, long-tailed sauropod that walked on 4 legs and lived some 95 million years ago in the Cretaceous period. The plant-eating dinosaur weighed the equivalent of more than 14 African elephants, or about 100 tons, and measured some 40 meters from head to tail.
Time to take a very short break here. We will be back with more science news. So stay tuned. Welcome back after the break. You're watching Science Monitor. And now our next segment, Science Express, shall take you through an exciting journey that will show you some other scientific activities across the country and the world.
As the nation gears up to face possible adverse effects of El Nino on monsoon-based agriculture, the Indian Council of Agricultural Research organized a 2-day Agri-Innovation Conclave on 18th and 19th May to bring modern technologies and innovations to farmers to increase farm productivity. On this occasion, ICAR announced its plans to sell up to 30 new farm technologies developed under the World Bank-aided National Agriculture Innovation Project (NAIP). The project closes this June. Around 300 new technology models have been developed under NAIP, of which 80 are commercialized so far. The conclave was aimed to act as a platform to disseminate information about the overall achievement of NAIP in transforming the agriculture sector of the country. Initiated in 2006, during the last 7 years, NAIP has accorded high priority to generations and transfer of agriculture technologies and innovation processes. The integrated farming system-based livelihood models developed by NAIP are being adopted in a number of states by government departments and universities with support from national programs like RKVY, NREGA, NHM, etc. The Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, has signed an agreement with the University of Southampton to promote collaborative research primarily in the areas of developing technological solutions, aviation and railway engineering. The agreement aims to leverage on the scientific expertise and scientific initiatives developed by the UK and Indian governments to promote collaborative research. In this context, both the institutions are conducting various thematic workshops in both the countries to cement relationships. Other planned initiatives include staff visits, student exchanges and proposals. The Bombay Natural History Society along with Delhi Forest Department on the occasion of International Biodiversity Day on 22nd May organized a walk on animal classification for underprivileged children at its Conservation Education Center in Asola Bhatti Wildlife Sanctuary, New Delhi. The walk focused on creating awareness about animal biodiversity found near Delhi. The program was supported by donations from Hemchand Mahindra Wildlife Foundation. Every year, 22nd May is celebrated as International Biodiversity Day all over the world. This day, celebrated in more than 192 countries each year, aims at spreading awareness regarding environmental protection and biodiversity conservation. The plenary session of the 67th World Health Assembly themed The Link Between Climate and Health concluded in Geneva, Switzerland. The session was aimed at addressing climate change and its impact on public health. On behalf of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, the session was attended by Shri C.K. Mishra, Additional Secretary Health, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The Assembly called for effective global action on the social, economic and environmental determinants of health. Two new studies regarding West Antarctic ice sheets set off alarm as it has been found that the West Antarctic ice sheet is melting faster than anticipated. This has been proposed by NASA during data from satellites, planes, ships and measurements from the shelf ice to examine 6 large glaciers in the Amundsen Sea over the last 20 years and by the University of Washington using computer models to study the Thwaites Glacier. Under such circumstances, the ice sheets are expected to collapse 200 years from now or at the most 900 unlike the previous anticipated thousands of years. The melting of West Antarctic ice sheet could raise global sea level by 3 to 4 meters if it melted completely. Bringing laurels to the nation, Indian-American cardiologist Mithul Kadakia has been granted the 2014 Gregory Braden Memorial Fellow of the Year Award by the Society for Cardiovascular Angiography and Interventions Foundation. Mithul Kadakia, who has a medical school degree from the Harvard Medical School and is currently a fellow in interventional cardiology at the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania, has been awarded the prestigious award in recognition of the interventional skills in multiple modalities and contributions to cardiovascular research.
Every year, 22nd of May is celebrated as the International Day for Biological Diversity. The aim of celebrating such a day is to continuously work towards conserving our biological diversity and also to increase awareness among people towards our environment. This year, the theme is Island Biodiversity and the mission is to conserve these small islands and their biodiversity so that we could make our ecosystem stronger. To know more about island biodiversity, watch our segment In Focus.
Our Mother Nature is full of rich, varied colors of life. The different forms of flora and fauna makes the earth teeming with life and beauty. These different forms of life has made our nature full of biodiversity. Rich biodiversity exists in different parts of the earth, whether it is in plains, mountains, deserts, oceans, marshy areas or islands. Every part of earth is full of life. However, rapid industrialization, expansion of agricultural land and other developmental activities since last few decades have caused much damage to our biodiversity. Keeping this in mind, a Biodiversity Convention came into existence in 1993 after worldwide concern on destruction of our rich biodiversity. It is also known as Convention on Biological Diversity. According to text of convention, 22nd of May was proclaimed as the International Day of Biological Diversity to increase understanding and awareness of biodiversity issues. This year, the theme of the Biodiversity Day is Island Biodiversity. The theme Island Biodiversity was chosen to coincide with the designation by the United Nations General Assembly of 2014 as the International Year of Small Island Developing States. Island is not merely a piece of land surrounded with water, but it is an integral part of our Mother Earth. An island is defined as any piece of subcontinental land that is surrounded by water and is separated from the mainland by at least 2 kilometers and has a minimum area of 0.15 square kilometer. They are also key to the livelihood, economy, well-being and cultural identity of 600 million islanders, 1/10 of the world's population. Islands and their surrounding nearshore marine areas constitute unique ecosystems, often comprising many plant and animal species that are endemic, found nowhere else on Earth. Like some plant and animal species found in Hawaii Island are found nowhere else on Earth. The legacy of a unique evolutionary history, these ecosystems are irreplaceable treasures. Likewise, India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep Island are significant in terms of biodiversity. Their marine areas are home to many animals, including 25 species of mammals like whales and dolphins, about 4 species of sea turtles, 1,000 species of fishes, 50 species of prawns and prawn fishes, and 550 species of corals are found here. Island shores are also full of rich biodiversity of corals. Coral reefs form some of the world's most productive ecosystems, providing complex and varied marine habitats that support a wide range of other organisms. The coral reefs are significant economically too. The global economic value of coral reefs has been estimated to be around $375 billion per year. Today, biodiversity seen in islands are facing danger of extinction. In any case, there are relatively fewer species found in these ecosystems, and their limited numbers are leading them to the path of extinction. Island species are also unique in their vulnerability. Of the 724 recorded animal extinctions in the last 400 years, about half were island species. 90% of the bird species found extinct during this times are related to island. Our country has started working in this direction since long. There are about 14 national parks and wildlife sanctuaries in Andaman and Nicobar Islands that aim to preserve the rich biodiversity of our islands. The biggest of these include the Mahatma Gandhi Marine National Park, which is spread over an area of 281 square kilometers, and the smallest one is the North Bay Coral Island, which is spread over an area of 1.74 square kilometers. We hope that efforts like these will go a long way in conserving the rich biodiversity found on our Mother Earth.
And what has been this week's contribution to the history of science? Let's find out in our segment History of Science.
The famous Dutch physicist Peter Zeeman was born on May 25, 1865. In 1902, he, along with Hendrik Lorentz, was honored with the Nobel Prize in Physics for the discovery of what is now called the Zeeman effect. This is the effect of splitting a spectral line into several components in the presence of a static magnetic field. Famous Indian agricultural scientist Benjamin Peripal was born on 26 May 1906. He successfully improved productivity of wheat and other crops through his researches. He dedicated 15 years of deep research and finally developed the NP809 wheat variety, which gave a major boost to cultivation of this grain. William Webster Hansen was born on May 27, 1909. He was one of the foremost scientists in the field of radar technology and microwave electronics. He had invented the klystron tube, which is now used in modern microwave and radar technologies. This is a tube that can create smooth high-frequency waves inside it. The famous British physicist Peter Higgs was born on May 29, 1929. Higgs was the first scientist to work on the origin of mass in nuclear particles. It was this theoretical advancement that opened up the possibility of finding a Higgs boson particle in the standard model of physics. The Swedish physicist Hannes Alfvén was born on May 30, 1908. He was among the pioneers of plasma physics. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1970 for his theory on magnetohydrodynamics of plasma.
So, how do you like our program Science Monitor? Well, do send in your comments and suggestions through email. Our email address is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also send us your suggestions by post. Our postal address is Vigyan Prasar, C24, Qutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. That is all in today's edition of Science Monitor, but we shall meet next week with more dosage of science news and lots of exciting information. Till then, goodbye and take care.